Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Here we are with the Horten 229. Now this aircraft has been considered the UFO. It still could be considered the UFO, but it got a pretty stiff nerf here a while back. That nerf had a lot to do with its high-speed maneuverability. It pretty much locks up now above 700 kilometers an hour. It also took a pretty stiff nerf to the energy retention, especially at low speeds. High speeds, you still have it, but there's a little bit of a struggle with this plane right now, and you'll see how we do it in this match. This was pretty much a down tier against props. I'm going to try and do another video here real quick, probably next in line with jets in the match, but you'll see real quick. So I try not to get too involved with this aircraft. I don't want to get too many enemies on me at once because remember I said it lost some energy retention. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. So I've got quite a few props that easily climbed above me. So they clearly have a little bit more energy than me starting out. Now I am faster than them, thankfully. And that's what we're going to play. We're going to play the speed. Now it's a double-edged sword because we don't have maneuverability at speed. So you're going to see this attacker over here, Welshie UK, that guy becomes the biggest bane of my existence in this match. And the attacker's a fast plane, but it doesn't maneuver that well. Anywho, so we start out with this match. You see these guys have their altitude advantage. And you know what? Looking back at the end of this match, I probably could have tried to take them all on at once. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. This ended up being a 7-kill match. But it really came down to patience. Patience goes a long ways, especially in lower tier jets. These slower jets, especially facing props. Props can 9 times out of 10 outturn you. Not the Horten, of course. But use your speed and be patient. So I'm kind of dragging these guys out. I'm going to try and edit this because there's a lot of this. My goal at the end of this is I want to be on an equal plane or not higher than these guys because I know that once I have my speed and my altitude above those guys, they're never going to actually get back above me. I can sit here and I can boom and zoom them all day long and I can maintain my energy. They do one turn and they don't have the energy to keep up with me anymore. So I'm going to try and edit some of this out. It's going to be a very long game. I'm apologizing, but you guys said you wanted to see it. This is the video that I talked about with the poll. So ultimately, my thought process going through with the Horten, I want to maintain my speed. I want to maintain at least 500 kilometers an hour. We take a quick hit on with the F8F, and we take a quick hit on with that Welshie guy, but I'll tell you what, you do not really want to ever commit to head-ons in this aircraft. Sure, it has great guns. This is a wooden aircraft. There's absolutely no armor on the front of this plane. A 50 cal goes through the cockpit, your pilot is dead. So avoid them if you can. But here we are. I'm doing about 750 kilometers an hour, which is great. None of these props are really going to be able to catch me. They have to be directly above me and dive on me to catch me. And at most points, I'm going to still go faster than them, and I can't outrun them, and then they will lose their altitude advantage. So we're just slowly kind of playing this game. Every time these guys turn, every time that they drop down a little bit in altitude gives me just a little bit more of an even plane. My goal is to get it to even plane, maybe a little bit higher. So the minute I see these guys at my altitude, I'm starting to feel pretty good about this. The Horten is really kind of god tier at high altitudes because the props start running out of power at high altitudes and you still turn no matter what speed you're at. It's fun. Anyways, but my goal is not necessarily to fight at high altitude. It's to get above these guys. So here we go. Another P-51. We broke off that head-on early. Not even going to bother trying to take the head-on with that guy. We're going to continue on and see if we can pull him behind him. Use this god-tier turn rate and get up behind him. Now here's where the rudder kicks in. Oh, wait. We don't have a rudder. So aiming in the Horten 229 is actually extremely difficult. So you have to plan your shot very carefully. So you see this guy? I know he's going to come down under me. So I'm leading my shot to come down under him. But here we are, extremely slow. 200 kilometers an hour, and the plane gets very sluggish. Amazing elevator. But here we go. Now we got to dodge these guys. Got a little bit hairy. But I drop my nose, I get back up to 500 kilometers an hour, and I'm pretty confident in this plane. 500 kilometers an hour to 700 kilometers an hour. That's about where I like to stay. Here we are with Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday doesn't ever really want to get slow in the Arado. It's still a very fast plane. It can outrun most of these other aircraft. The attacker is going to be a bit of a pain in the butt for him, but it is the same for me. So we continue to extend a little bit here. I know I can outrun the props, no problem. Patience goes a long ways. The attacker is my biggest problem. I want to get rid of him because I cannot maintain an energy advantage over him, unfortunately. So we just Patience, patience. We go a little bit farther out, and we just extend. And about that time, I hear something. I look up, and here comes another P-51H. This guy's going to force me to turn. He's got a little bit of speed coming out of the dive. A single turn should be all it takes to be able to make him dump enough speed that I can just run right away from him. So that's what we do. And then the attacker comes in and makes his pass on me. Things are starting to get a little bit hairy. But as long as I stay somewhat fast, I can stay away from those props, and I can try and fight the attacker. But unfortunately, after my little turn, I'm not going to be able to keep up with him, and he's going to pull away from me. I could try and pop these shots at him, but just without a rudder, it's extremely hard to aim. You want a point-blank shot with this aircraft. The guns are slow. 103s, when they hit, they're amazing. But look at that. He's going to fly right away from me. I'm not going to give up my altitude, though. So I'm just going to try and maintain my 500 kilometers an hour, and I'm going to continue to climb. So the attacker, he's a really fast aircraft, but he doesn't maneuver that well. So we just kind of ignore him for now, and I edit a little bit of this out because it's kind of the same footage over and over again. So I'm kind of just traveling around the pack trying to get away from them and slightly above them. Now here comes another P-51H, and he had quite a bit of altitude. And I'm going to try and take advantage of my distance that I have between these other two guys, but I couldn't quite get the shot. So we drop the nose, we get back up to 500. The props are never going to catch me at 500 kilometers an hour and accelerating. Here we are back up to 700. Now this is going to give me tons of room, but the attacker is slightly faster. I maneuver like crap above 800, so this is where you're going to see this is my best roll rate. I've still got decent turn, but my roll rate, this is my max roll rate right here. And it gets kind of hairy if you have your nose down and you hit 800. If you get to 900, I think this plane rips around like 930. It's a little over 900, but just I'm going to tell you, you don't want to get to 900 unless you absolutely need it to run away from somebody. But here we are. The attacker's getting a little bit more aggressive. I don't have any props around me. I want to try and get him a little bit vertical and see if I can get him slow. But Welshie, he's not having it. Welshie's playing this plane very smart. He's doing a good job. He's not getting aggressive. He's not giving up his speed, and he's certainly not turning with me. He's doing the right thing. So here we go. I ignore him. We turn back towards the pack, and if I look over here, you see that 3 of these guys are now below me. I have 1 high. I can fight a single P-51. We'll pop a bullet or 2 in the head-on, pull off. Do not want anything to do with 50 cals, so we pull off nice and early. We go ahead and we swoop in. We try to make a pass on these guys, but nope, not going to get it because the angle just was not set up right, and I'm not going to risk my pilot. There is no armor. But as long as we keep our speed up, here we go. We're going to drop our nose away. This P-51's a little slow, but here comes the other one at the same time. So all we're going to try here is to subtle turn. This guy's going to dump some speed. The other one's going to dump some speed. As long as I maintain the speed that I have currently, this is where that energy retention comes into play. I'm going to start pulling away from these guys. Look at that. Alright, so now the distance is increasing on the P-51Hs, but here comes the attacker again. So I'm going to drop my nose just a little bit more. The attacker, again, does not maneuver that well. So we have to be careful, but I'm not giving up my speed because I do not want to sit here and get tangled up with P-51Hs while I have a guy with an energy advantage. So here we go. The attacker pulls off. I have a little bit of speed left. I'm going to slowly climb while dodging this guy. Of course, 50 cals are scary, but you can see them coming, so you can dodge them. At this distance, you can see them. Even though they can reach this far, it's pretty easy to dodge. So don't freak out. Here we go. Now look at what just happened. I now have an energy advantage over all these guys. The attacker's still fast. I'm not going to worry about him too much. Doc is going to fight the attacker here in a little bit. He should be able to outrun all these guys. The P-51s, they're going to start running out of WEP real soon because they have a limited amount of WEP. So here we are. I'm letting Doc run. The attacker, he should be able to fight him if it's just the attacker. P-51 pulling into the head-on, take a quick shot, drop off, doing a good speed, 500 kilometers an hour. So remember, I said between 500 kilometers an hour and 700 kilometers an hour is where I want to be. So here we go. The reason I say this, and you'll see this in a minute, here we go. We start dropping a little bit below. I'm down into the 400s now, so I drop my nose just a little bit more as I'm turn fighting these guys. But the more they turn fight, the more they're going to dump speed as well. Hey, you might want to check your Discord messages. But here we go. We got a decent shot. We're going to try and get it, but the rudder is slightly painful in this aircraft. Still trying to maintain 500 kilometers an hour. I get a reasonable shot on this guy. Still can't hit it. We go ahead and we pull inside him on this turn, get another shot off, and get rid of him. So now we're just extending a little bit. We're going to look around, survey the scenario, because I didn't have my situational awareness up while I was in the middle of that fight. But it looks like we're doing pretty good. The P-51H is kind of running away. Looks like he's going to go after Doc, or maybe he's RTB. But here comes an F-8F. I'm not afraid of fighting an F-8F. I'm not afraid of fighting pretty much any prop one-on-one in this aircraft. Remember I was talking earlier and I didn't quite finish it. We were talking about the energy retention in this aircraft. You're going to see it right now. So I went into this fight with a good speed. But I'm going to get aggressive with him. I'm going to go slightly vertical, try and pull in front of his turn here. He's going to get slightly inside me, or at least not give me enough shot. There's a little bit of lag. That was interesting. But now he's extremely slow. I still have about 300 kilometers an hour, which is not exactly where I want to be, but it's doing better than him. We're going to pull into this, try and get the shot. Couldn't quite line it up, missed it, whatever. But now, there's not much he can do. He's not going to be able to outrun me. But I'm trying my hardest because the energy retention, this is where it's gone. This used to be a lot easier fight. You used to be able to maintain 500 kilometers an hour easy, and now you don't. So when you get really slow, your rudder is trash. You don't have it to start with, and it's even worse. So you really have to plan your shots accordingly. But we were able to get him fairly easy. So we're dropping our nose, we're heading back. Doc just tells me that unfortunately he got hit and he's probably going down. So right now it's just myself and another Arado, which I'm not even sure where he's at right now. Is he? No, he's not helping me, so we're going to go back and we're going to try and get this P-51 and see what we can do. Oh, there's the other Arado. Looks like he's back at base or something. So we cut out about 30 seconds of footage here, and we're catching up to the P-51 fairly quickly. My bet is he is out of WEP right now. He's probably not happy. He might be damaged, and he's trying to get back to base. But here comes a B-29 as well. So which one do we go for? Well, the P-51 is going to keep running. We're going to see if we can get him. But this B-29, I'm not going to pass him up, because if he finishes off the base, that ends the match. So I'm keeping my speed up as fast as I can. I don't really want to get hit by him, but we do, unfortunately. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad, and now the P-51H is turning. Well, that's not going to spell well for him because I have a lot of energy. He's going to try and, well, I don't know what he's going to try and do, but it doesn't work. So that's 2 more down. I'm guessing he was out of WEP. He had to have been out of WEP. And it looks like we can look over in the distance here and we can see that there's dots on the runway. Now, my fuel's kind of low, and I know that I have a few more people to fight, so it is time to turn back and go land, get fresh fuel, and see if we can win this match. So, quick word of advice when landing the Horten. Don't land it too fast. Don't force it onto the ground. This thing has an extremely slow stall speed and a very big nose wheel that almost always touches down first. Granted, if it's touching down first, you're probably going a little too fast, and that might have been the case in this one, but it was successful. Just don't force it to land. Don't force it to land. You will bounce, and then you will end up in the dirt and dead. That is all. So we took back off, and here we are. We get up to 500 kilometers an hour before we even consider climbing. But I'm looking in the distance, and I can see a dot. There is a P-51H. It's Tempest. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, I'm not doing that again. But that is his name. And he is on the deck, which means he's not going to be going too fast. I'm faster than him, and I can maintain an energy advantage over him relatively easily. He comes towards me in the head-on. Not going to... There's the bullets, and we're going to pull off. We go into the vertical, take this energy, convert it into altitude, and we will swoop back down on top of him. Pretty easy kill when it comes to jets versus props. If there's a prop on the deck, the jet should be able to maintain energy over him all day long. So he's just trying to get the vehicles so he can help the tickets out. About all he can do. We get the fire on him, he is done, and that is that. That's 5 kills now. Remember I said this patience goes a long ways, and these guys were getting impatient. They got impatient, they started going after the ground targets, and that is what unfortunately killed him. So now we've got the attacker, and I think we've got another P-51H. The attacker, like I said, he's going to be the bane of my existence this entire match, and he still is. This proves to be the most difficult part of trying to win this entire match. So here he is. He's finished off the other Arado. I am the last one left against him and the P-51H. Now, we haven't really seen this P-51H all match. We don't really know where he's at. So I worked my way up to the attacker. Remember, we've encountered this guy a few times before. I know he's not dumb. I want to try and bait him into a turn fight. We pop a bullet or two in the head-on, but we're not going to stick with that because we know that being the last one's left, he's probably going to get a little aggressive, at least in the head-ons. He knows better than to turn. And here we go. he is going to run a little bit, and he's going to maintain an energy advantage over me. So I'm dropping my nose. I'm going to get up to the best speed that I can, which is going to be around 800. I can accelerate up to 900, but it's not going to do it on the deck, not straight and level. So we try to do a subtle climb. Here he is. He went a little aggressive on his climb, lost a little speed. And I'm going to go ahead and use this high speed energy retention. Remember, once I said you get below 500, you start losing it real quick. And this is why jet versus jet, the Horten kind of has issues. But he's slow, I'm slow. I'm going to have an incredible hard time hitting him. He is going to be able to accelerate away from me. And here it is. I'm going to dive. I'm going to pick up speed. And remember, I told you guys in previous videos that if you want to fight a Horten, you take him up to high speed. I don't know. This guy knows that. He understood that. So here we are, getting up to high speed. I am not going to be able to maneuver well enough to get a shot on him. I'm just going to have to slowly take these pop shots at him. He sees them coming. He's dodging them. And here is the struggle of the Horten right now. And he can do this all day. I can do this all day. He's playing it smart. I'm trying to catch him right. I thought that should have hit. But as we start dumping a little bit of speed, if I overshoot him, which I don't want to, I don't want to ever overshoot him, but he's going to be able to maintain a safe energy advantage over me. If I dump my speed, he's just going to pull away. So I dumped a little bit of speed in that turn, and look, he's going to start pulling away again until I get back up to speed. My top speed is a little higher than his, but here it goes. So I had to drop my nose a little bit to try and catch up to him. It's just frustrating. This is the Horten right now. This is the nerf that it got. That's my best roll rate right there at this speed. And I have to be really careful too, because like right here, if you're really not careful, you go into the ground. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. So I have to play it and wait for him to pull in front of my nose and time my bullets right. And these bullets fire really slow too. We could do this all day. Look how easy it is for him to dodge me. Thinking maybe here's a chance. He's slightly following me vertical. Maybe I could get him here. This is the bait that I was looking for. Nope, not quite. And he's not going to turn back in. He's going to drop his nose and he's going to run away. And now I am slow. Look how... Once I got below 500 kilometers an hour, I dumped all my speed just like that. Look at how fast that speed dumped. And that's what I'm talking about with the lack of energy retention in this aircraft. It still has it at high speeds because you compress, but the second you get below 500, you're done. If I did that, if that was a 2-on-1 versus 2 jets, I am definitely dead. Maintain that 500 kilometers an hour and you'd be alright. But you see now, he's just running away from me. We do this long enough, I will catch him though. And that's what's going to happen. So we chop out another minute or two, and here we are on his butt again. And he's just going to be able to dodge me all day long at these speeds. I have to be able to get him slow. I have to bait him into a turn fight or make it look like he can kill me. So here we go. He pulls up, sort of. I thought maybe he was going up. Wasn't enough, but we maintain our speed right now. We're still catching him. He's dumped a little bit. I'm trying my hardest to keep my speed up. I don't know exactly when I should air brake or when. It's not a great thing to do. Because if I touch that air brake and he decides he just wants to run away, he can do it. But here we go, into this turn fight. He's starting to try and force me to overshoot. I'm not going to air brake. I'm just going to drop my throttle. And here we go. Trying to stick with him. He's getting really slow because I know that because I'm having to do these extra turns to stay inside him. Here we go with another shot. Finally get him. Now, I'm going to say I did edit about another minute of this turn fight out because that's all it was over and over again. But we got lucky. We finally managed to line up that shot and get him. Now we got a P-51H left. Where is he? Anywho, so we fly for a little bit when we finally see him. Looks like he had just taken off from the airfield. Maybe he took a break. According to his buddy, he took a wank. Anywho, he's low. He's fairly slow. Not much he can do. We're not going to get too aggressive because we have all this energy. We can just fly circles around him. Looks like he's going to turn in behind me and try to follow me vertical. Not the greatest move. And we're just going to keep going up and we're going to bleed him of energy. Eventually he's going to come close to stalling and we'll drop back down on top of him. This is, if you have an energy advantage in jets, this is exactly how you got to do it. And look at how quickly we flip back over. And there's pretty much nothing he can do. The whole goal in the Horten is to keep between 500 and 700 kilometers an hour. If you're ever in a 2-on-1 fight and you drop below 500 kilometers an hour, you're gonna be toast. And that's all there is. Because the energy retention below 500 kilometers an hour is just not good at all. And this plane doesn't have enough power to recover it. That's all I gotta say. We're gonna do a jet match video just to show you later on. Let me know what you guys think. I know this was a long match, but hopefully it taught you something. We'll see. Let me know, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you around. Peace.